How's Don Brewer been doing these days in the land of music?
Uh, Don's doing great. He's, just touring every year with Grand Funk. We do 35 or 40 shows a year and play all over the country and just have a great time.
You got any tour dates coming up that we don't know of yet?
Oh, not that you don't know of. Everything on the website is pretty much up to date. I think our next date is the 14th in San Antonio.
Now, touring today is much different than days when you guys used to drive and how far and all that. Now it's probably all planes and stuff.
Yeah, we do all fly dates now, and we really, we have a company that brings our backline or our stage equipment to us, and all of the stage and the lights and the sound, all of that stuff is already there, and so it's a whole different thing where we don't get in the car and drive and take off for 6 months at a time. I don't like bus tours, so we don't do bus tours, and so it's very nice. We play like on Friday and Saturday night and then go home.
And that's quite relaxing then. Good schedule.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
When's the last time you would have drove in a bus?
The last time I did anything on a bus would have been in the late '90s, I think it was. Grand Funk tried a short time on a bus, and that was enough of that.
You got a car horn going in the background, I hear?
Yeah, it must be somebody. There you go. And oh boy, just look at the people running to get that. Yeah, there we go. He turned it off.
You're famous for, we're an American band with that big intro drumming. Where did you come up with that idea back in the day, if you remember, to start that drum
Well,
beat?
we were in rehearsal. We used to rehearse at the Flint Federation of Musicians, the Union Hall, and we were working on new material for the next album. And I happened to bring in that song. I just brought in the guitar and I showed everybody the kind of chord changes I had and the ideas for the chorus and the the melody line and the bridge and so forth. And we were working on it. We were just kind of jamming and working on the song, and we needed an intro. And I forget who it was. I think Mark, said it needs a cowbell. So I started messing around with these ideas with the cowbell and the bass drum figure and the snare drum figure, and it just kind of fell into place, and that's where it came from.
Like, was it an 8-track recording system or 16 back then?
No, it would have been 16. And we probably would have used, I'm guessing, 6 channels for the drums.
Back then, was it recorded much differently than, compared to today? Back then, you had to really have talent playing, first of all.
Yeah, you really spent a lot of time rehearsing and getting the parts down and getting the arrangements down, and you'd get into the studio. And really all you were trying to do when you got in the studio was get a performance, capture a performance, whereas today, I don't feel that that doesn't seem to be the primary goal. The primary goal seems to be technical and making everything perfect. It doesn't depend on the performance anymore, which I think is really a shame.
Do you recall what type of microphones you used on them drums to capture that tone?
To capture that sound at that time, Todd Rundgren was recording. We were recording in Miami Criteria Sound Studios. Todd was a big fan of SM57s, just Shure 57s on the snare drum, on the tom-toms. He'd use Neumanns for overheads. I think there were U87s for overheads. And I'm guessing that he probably used an RE20 and Electro Voice RE20 on the bass drum.
Interesting, and these would have been the classic microphones of today. Can't get them today
Absolutely.
either.
Well, you can find them. No, they're not cheap.
You guys got Bruce Kulick playing guitar now for Grand Funk Railroad.
We do, yeah. Great guy. We met. I've known Bruce for going on 30 years. Bruce used to play with Michael Bolton back in the 80s, and I was playing with Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, and Michael Bolton was the opening act on the Bob Seger tour that I did, and that's where I first met Bruce, and he was just, he's a great guitar player. Even though he did play with Kiss, and I think that's kind of beneath his ability.
Really?
But I think he's just a fantastic guitar player. Yeah.
Did you happen to hear him on Asylum of Kiss? Awesome guitar solos he's doing on that.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Great stuff.
He's terrific. Yeah.
So you basically kept in touch with Bruce all these years?
Well, not really. I just looked him up. I had remembered Bruce, and my wife actually knows Bruce from way back in the day. And I looked him up on the internet is how I found him, and sent him an email, and asked him what he was doing and if he'd be interested in coming aboard. You know.
What do you do in a round of a day, anyways, when you're not playing and stuff? What's your hobbies?
Well, I take care of a lot of the business with the band, so I spend, at least half of every day doing that kind of stuff, dealing with band business. And then, I exercise a lot. I go take walks. I go to the gym every night. Spend a lot of time doing that.
Is there any future Grand Funk Railroad album ever going to come out?
We don't know. We've got some new stuff that we do in the show. We've got 4 or 5 new songs that we kind of mix into the show stuff, and eventually we'll probably put something out, but I don't know exactly when. I don't know if it'll just be a CD or an album, maybe more of a DVD kind of thing.
Do you spend much time on the internet?
I do. Well, I think it's all, it's just everything has changed to internet. Commerce in general has changed to internet. It's really sped up the whole process of everything. So I have both good and bad feelings about it, but I think overall I think it's good. I think most of the stuff in the archives is out there. About the only thing that isn't out is a 60-minute made-for-TV special of the Shea Stadium concert we did in 1971. That's really the only piece of stuff that's left in our archives. Everything else is really out there.
Throughout your whole career, have you always played drums, like never stopped?
I have. Yeah, pretty much. I started out really on playing in the high school band on a clarinet, and then I eventually moved to drums, and I played guitar for a while. I learned some guitar stuff, and but drums has really been my love. Well, Some Kind of Wonderful is actually a cover. It was written by somebody else, and it was actually performed first by a group called the Soul Brothers Six, and that would have been in the '60s. And when we first, we were growing up, and we heard this song on a soul station in Flint, Michigan, and we started using it kind of as a warm-up piece in the back of the car. Going from the hotel to the gig, we'd use it as an a cappella thing, singing, I don't need a whole lot of money, and everybody'd sing the backgrounds and no instrumentation. And then we finally decided that we should record it, and we recorded it, and it became a huge hit. Locomotion as well, as you know. Yeah.
Do you guys try to find the obscure stuff and turn them into hits in a sense?
Well, whatever we do, Locomotion wasn't really obscure. Whatever we do, though, we try to, make it our own, and not just do an imitation of what the original composition was or what the original song was. And so if we take on, Inside Looking Out, which is a staple of a Grand Funk show, that was a cover as well, too. That came from the Animals did that originally. Any
projects that you're recording?
Just mostly touring, yeah, mostly live. I did the last Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band tour. That was in 2006 and 2007. May possibly go out, again, if Bob decides to go out and do some stuff, I may do that. But my primary thing is always Grand Funk. Well, great. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for calling. All right. Thank you.